there, my lovelies. How are we doing? Welcome back. My name is Boomy. Thank you for watching. So today, guys, we're going to be catching up with Alton Brown again. So the last Alton Brown video I reacted to, it was the ribs, the beef rib video, and it looked amazing. And I very much enjoyed watching Alton Brown. So I thought I'll catch up with another video. A few of you did tell me that wasn't the first episode, so it's a bit disjointed. It's not in any particular order. And it was a little bit difficult to find episode 1. But here we are. So this is the first episode of the Alton Brown Cooks Food series. And this is The Big Bird. So, don't need much more of an introduction there. So I'm assuming this is a turkey. So let's catch up and see what Alton Brown does, working his magic, making this big bird. And as ever, guys, if you are enjoying these reactions, please like and subscribe to my channel, my lovelies. Thank you so much if you could. If you're interested, I have a Buy Me a Coffee. The link is over here. And should you wish to help support this channel any further, I do have a Patreon account. If you fancy checking that out, that link is in the description below. Oh, the big bird.
Hi, Alton Brown here. Back in 1999, my cohorts and I capped the first season of a show called Good Eats with a 1-hour special about Thanksgiving called Romancing the Bird, the centerpiece of which was a recipe for a roast turkey, which included a pre-cook soak in a salt solution or a brine.
A brine,
it was
yes.
an unusual move for the time, not a lot of brining being done back then. But not only can a brine bring extra moisture into a big piece of meat, the salt that it takes with it can alter the proteins inside so the mussels don't, well, surrender moisture quite as willingly as when they aren't brined. Also, the brine seasons the meat quite nicely.
Who is in the background there? Who is that lady? Yes, so guys, for anyone that didn't check out any of my previous videos, or if you're new to the channel, hello. I have very much followed in your footsteps, and I've tried to fry a turkey for Christmas. We missed it for Thanksgiving, so I popped it in the oven, and I committed the gravest of culinary sins, and I did overcook that poor, small little turkey for my reenacting of an American Thanksgiving. So yes, there was time for turkey redemption. I fried a turkey for Christmas Day, using the fryer that Rebecca and Ayanami, thank you, had got me, and it's absolutely fantastic. So yes, it's an absolute game changer. Oh my gosh, it might actually have been the most delicious turkey in the entire of the UK on Christmas Day. Yes, it's that tasty. I am bold enough to actually make that statement because it was so unbelievably delicious. I've never tasted turkey like it. Oh, holy moly. It was just an absolute game changer. I'm going to be doing it every year, twice a year. Yeah, so we have turkey on Christmas Day as opposed to you guys eating it on Thanksgiving. Well, we don't have Thanksgiving, but we do tend to do a little bit more of a similar Thanksgiving dinner for our Christmas dinner, if that makes any sense. Anyway, so yes, I brined the turkey. I left it in a brining solution. I put some aromatics in it, left it for 24 hours in the fridge in a brining bag. So yes, I don't really have an awful lot to compare it to. I don't know what the difference may have been without brining it, but the final results, brining, frying, I kind of wish I attempted to smoke it to smoke it before frying it, but I don't know what the process would have been. Anyway, I'm blabbing at this point. Delicious, lovely, wonderful, highly recommend it. I can totally see why so many of you brine your turkeys and go through the effort of frying them. Absolutely amazing.
My hope was that the process would buy home chefs an insurance policy against overcooking and dryness. And judging from the comments that have accumulated on various forums and social platforms over the decades, it seems to have worked out pretty well. Although I continue to dabble in turkeys through the years. Oh, there's me in '99. I did a spatchcock dry cure here. I did a honey brine smoked version, fried bird. I even did a bird roasted in a Dutch oven, the size of a Mini Cooper. But I've never revisited the original until today.
I'm just gonna say quickly, guys, the turkeys we generally see, or we hear of you guys preparing like what kind of 20-pound turkeys, seem absolutely ginormous and gigantic. Our turkeys, by comparison, are not quite as big. They are generally smaller, sometimes pathetic looking little birds, like the one I did for Thanksgiving. Next year, I would completely agree. It has to be a bigger bird, doesn't it? You do need a bird of that size for ample amounts of leftovers. Delicious. And I think it helps in that cooking process. You're less likely to dry it out because it's bigger. Blah, 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 blah. But yes, our birds are generally a little bit smaller by comparison, but you do need a big bird.
Here in my top secret test kitchen, zoom out, so palatial,
Hey!
thus showcasing
Palatial.
several of the changes, refinements, and innovations that I have made to the process through the years. For instance,
I love that chicken. That's ginormous! Brine for.
most of the turkeys consumed on Thanksgiving in this country are purchased in the state of suspended animation that we refer to as frozen. And frankly,
really?
that's fine with me, as
have a
raw
lot of
birds
frozen
suffer
ones.
more from mishandling during shipping and storage. Now, if your turkey is flash frozen right after processing, odds are good it will arrive to you close to the same condition. Come on, buddy. Of course, this means you gotta thaw the bird, which can take up to a week here in the refrigerator, where it's gonna take up considerable real estate. And then, of
I had a fresh
course, you gotta
one this
find
year,
something
to
to
be
brine it in for 24 hours while hopefully keeping it south of 40 degrees Fahrenheit. It's a pain, and plenty of you have told me so. The solution? Simple. Thaw and brine at the same time.
It does take up an awful lot of fridge space, and that time of year, Thanksgiving or Christmas Day, more generally when from the Brits, that space is very, very sought after. It's very, very valuable. So taking up like the majority, and I haven't got a huge fridge, so it did take up pretty much a third of my fridge. And you do need the space for other bits and bobs, don't you?
Here, I have a standard 5-gallon water cooler. This one happens to be made by Igloo, a company with which I do not currently have any affiliation at all. This will easily hold a bird up to 16 pounds, a number I never exceed, and the required volume of brine. Speaking of the brine, I'm going to add 284 grams of the kosher salt to our cooler, along with 222 grams of dark brown sugar or turbinado. And then you're going to add 6 quarts of hot water.
What's a
Stir,
quart?
and when the solids are dissolved, follow with 5 pounds of ice. Stir till it's mostly melted. Then submerge your bird breast down. Add the probe of your remote probe thermometer. You do have one, right? I mean, it may be more kitchen critical than an instant read thermometer, although both would be better. Just to let the plug hang out for the moment. Now, the turkey is essentially a birdberg, right? So it's going to float in that dense brine. So you need something that can deliver a bit of a downward push or pressure, like a big balloon or a wad of old bubble wrap, which I always seem to have laying around, though I have no idea why. Now, you're going to set your thermometer's alarm to 40 degrees, which is the threshold of the dreaded bacterial danger zone. I'm not too worried about bacteria with all the salt we brought to the party. Get away. It's not your show. Stash the cooler anywhere, out of the way, garage, whatever. And if the alarm does go off, before the thaw is done, I've never seen it happen, just throw in a couple of handfuls of ice. Next step.
The truss?
By the time the brine hits 40 degrees, the bird inside the brine will still be in the low 30s, what the industry calls deep chill, but it should be pliable enough to work with. So extract and just drain it well. I usually put mine in a colander. Then you're gonna lay it out and remove the giblets, including the neck, which is usually up in the cavity. And then, of course, the sack of guts where the head used to be. Save the neck for stocks and things like that. And, of course, you can cook the rest of the giblets for your dogs. Here they like them. Now, Set the bird in a shallow pan. Now cut yourself about 6.5 feet of cotton butcher's twine because unlike my original bird, this one gets trussed. Why? Because I've definitely found over the years that a bird with wings and legs akimbo cooks more unevenly than a more compact uniform shape. Also, at this point, I don a little plastic wrap bib kind of action, or a trash bag would be fine too.
I absolutely adore his sense of humor. I can imagine. I have no idea about Alton Brown's personal life. I don't know whether he's got children or partners or anything, but I bet he is or would be like the funniest granddad ever, grandpa. Can you imagine? He'd have you in stitches, wouldn't he?
You'll see why in a minute. Okay, I find that trussing in a shallow pan is better than a cutting board. With the legs facing you, slide the twine under the neck at the front of the bird and try to make sure that the center of the twine goes where the neck bone is. Then you go up over the wings, down the sides of the breast, cross, go underneath the ends of the legs, and then back up the breast. Now this time we're going to go over the wings again, but tuck under the little nubbin on the wingtip. That'll provide a little notch to keep the twine in place. Then flip up and tie around the bottom. Now you see what the bib is for. You skip that, you're going to have turkey spooge all over your front. While you're here, go ahead and fabricate a breastplate, aka turkey triangle, from heavy-duty foil, which will be employed if needed to prevent the breast skin from over-browning, often a factor, especially in small ovens where the roof is closer to the bird. Bird secure. Time now for
blowing in the wind. That does look nice and neat and compact, doesn't it? Because normally, isn't it just the legs that are tied or tucked in that cavity, as mine was. So yes, I wouldn't mind recreating that actually.
For
the chicken,
literally generations, chefs, recipe writers, home cooks, home economists have tried to come up with a surefire method for delivering a bird with a deep, dark, mahogany, crisp skin. Many methods have been espoused, from rubbing with butter to literally wedging butter under the skin, brushing on molasses, and of course, blowtorches. My method is simple and twofold. And for one, nothing really browns better than sugar, and we have soaked our bird in some of that, so huzzah. The other is that water doesn't brown very well at all, which means that dry skin browns better. You could, of course, just pat it down with some paper towels, but I prefer to park mine in front of a fan for, I don't know, say half an hour. 2 fans, actually, because they recharge, and I've got like 6 of them. Now, I used to have a problem with evenness and you know, had to move the fans around a lot, but not since I added this bad boy to my kit. $30 on the interwebs. Even has a remote control, which I've already lost. So while that spins, go ahead and remove one of your oven racks and position the remaining rack in the bottom third of the box and boost the heat control to 500 degrees.
I like it. Okay,
next, we advance to gravy.
Prelude to gravy.
Should never be an afterthought, my friends. Indeed, gravy begins early in the process. Cut 4 medium carrots into 1/2-inch moons, and then cut 1 medium-length leek into 1/2-inch moons. Don't forget to wash the leek. And also about 4 ounces of cremini mushrooms. Mix them up on a sheet pan or roasting pan and add 6 big sprigs of rosemary. Then top with a cooling rack, okay? Then that's gonna go on the oven rack. Now go ahead and pour in a cup of chicken or turkey stock, or do what I do and pour in a cup of white wine. To ensure that the veggies don't burn and to establish a base for the flavor of the gravy to come.
Okay.
Now position the bird right on the rack and go ahead and cook for half an hour. If you've got a vent hood, you may want to turn that sucker on. If not, open a window because there could be smoke. But you notice that there is no stuffing in my bird. I have long held that stuffing is evil, as it slows the cooking process, and that promotes dryness, as does opening the door to baste, which also does literally nothing in my opinion, but let a lot of perfectly good heat out of the oven.
Interesting.
Anyway, my trussing method leaves an opening in the back of the bird so that you can, shove some cooked dressing in there after the bird comes out to rest and just call it stuffing. And to those of you who like to shove herbs in there because they make the kitchen smell pretty, may I suggest getting one of my new Thanksgiving candles, which starts off with scents of parsley, sage, rosemary, and I can't remember the other one, and then finishes with aromas of celery, onion, and toasted turkey skin. Online now. Okay.
That might be the most bizarre fragrance of candle I've ever heard of in my life, but why not?
After 30 minutes, pull out the bird and give it a quick brushing with a neutral flavored oil. Now, why brush on the oil now instead of earlier when we started this whole process? Because I forgot to do it earlier. Oops. This is also usually when I add the temperature probe. Why now and not earlier? Because no, you can if you've got a higher end probe, which I do, but a lot of probes out there do not perform well at temperature as high as 500 degrees. And even if they survive the exposure, it can shorten their operational lifespan. So I'm instructing on the safe side. Okay. Now is also when I would take a look at the top of that bird. And if it's really dark brown, add the turkey triangle. But if you want it browner, just leave it off for now, but keep an eye on it. All right, since the heat's going down to 350 degrees and it's going to stay there however long it takes for the internal temperature to hit 155, typically an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours, depending on the oven, depending on the bird, depending on factors. Next up. When the bird hits 155, we extract along with the supporting veggies. Do not carve the bird, just set it someplace out of the way to rest. Maybe top it with a clean kitchen towel, but not foil, because foil holds in condensation. That's not good. Now, time to gravy. Move the veggies and all their goodness to a large saucepan, or better, a 4-quart saucier, and add a quart of good chicken or turkey broth stock. I have homemade, so I'm going to use that. Bring to a gentle boil over medium-high heat. Then
I was just going to say, whenever I make a stock or anything like this for gravy, I normally chop the vegetables up so they're quite big, because I don't like the idea of them catching. So Alton Brown did chop them up quite fine, well, not fine, but smaller than I would. But how long have they been in the oven? Did he cook them with it in there with a stock? White wine, did he say? Maybe that's what stopped them from catching.
Reduce to maintain a spirited simmer and allow that liquid to reduce for a solid 10 minutes. Then strain it through a sieve or a fine strainer and really kind of push on those solids a little bit. And you'll have, or should have, a quart of liquid. And that is perfect, okay? Then leave that alone for like 10 minutes so the fat can rise to the top. Oh, and go ahead and clean the saucier because we're not done with it. After 10 minutes, you should be able to skim the fat off of the broth. Just use a ladle for that. You don't have to get it all. The saucier goes back over medium heat. You add 4 tablespoons of unsalted butter and keep it moving, okay? And watch the bubbles as the butter melts, because as the water content cooks out, the bubbles will get kind of big, right? And then they'll start stacking up on each other, and then they'll start to kind of get small and die down. But before they get all gone, and more importantly, before the milk solids burn, whisk in 45 grams of all-purpose flour, followed by a tablespoon of chopped fresh thyme. And keep whisking for 1 minute. There's going to be some more bubbling because the flour does contain some moisture, and of course so does the thyme. Then whisk smartly as you slowly introduce the strained broth. And like I said, you'll have a quart, and if you don't, add something. Return to a spirited simmer over medium heat, and then reduce to a bare simmer and cook for 7 minutes, whisking often. You'll know you're done when the gravy reaches nappe, meaning that if you dip a spoon into it and then drag your finger across the back, the mark that your finger made will stay. And it won't be gravy thick, not yet, but don't worry, because see, as it cools, the gravy is going to thicken, which is why if you need to hold it for more than just a few minutes before serving, I would stash in a thermos for safekeeping rather than the gravy boat where it'll turn to a brick. Now, when it comes to the bird,
I do not like carving turkeys at all.
When it comes
Very
to the bird,
intimidating.
I always bring it out from the kitchen and present it to my guests in all of its mighty splendor, just like this.
Oh, see, because I don't like carving the turkey, I'm quite shy with it, so I'll pre-carve, lay it out nice on a plate, and then that's what gets presented. I don't like the idea of the pressure of carving the turkey in front of everyone.
And then I go back in the kitchen and get medieval on it. Honestly, carving in front of guests is just not something I should be allowed to do. Because see, what I do is I use a carving knife and I remove the leg quarters and separate the legs from the drumsticks, and then I take off the wings, and then I kind of flay off the breast lobes and break those down into slices against the grain, using my electric carving knife, which I pretty much use for nothing but carving turkeys and the occasional roast, but it helps to keep the skin on. I stack the breasts, shingle style, on either side of the plate, and then kind of work in the wings, the drumsticks, and the thighs. And sometimes the thighs, I cut the meat off sometimes, but I really do like to. And it's
I think he's so funny. Doesn't this look gorgeous though? So Alton Brown does do what I did. We can carve it in the kitchen and then bring it back when it's looking beautiful, because no one really wants to see you wrestling and literally butchering up this turkey. And then you just make it look nice. I would quite like an electric carving knife. That makes sense. Trying to slice the turkey breast in particular and keep that skin on to make it look all presentable. And if the skin is lovely and crispy, everyone wants a bit of that, don't they? So you try and keep the skin on when you're slicing it up, but it's not easy. No, it's not. Like I say though, frying my turkey, that was the only time I've ever prepared a turkey, and the skin has been an ideal texture in which you want to eat it, because normally if it's not, I don't know, it's like it's thicker than chicken skin. And it's not as, if it's not crispy, it's not a nice skin to eat. It's got to have that lovely crispiness there. And like I say, frying a turkey for the first time ever in my life, oh gosh, just everything about it was perfect. Everything. And the skin was absolutely spot on, delicious. Gobbled it all up.
all I eat. So I usually leave them whole.
Okay.
I do use a bunch of herbs around the outside because they look nice. And of course, they smell good. I do serve my gravy on the side to each person in their own little bowl so they can dip.
I like that.
Pour, do whatever they like. I also pour, speaking of, a Pinot Noir. If white is your jam, go with a Chenin Blanc or maybe a nice champagne. Perfect with turkey. As for the turkey leftovers, the carcass, well, that's another show.
Soup's on.
Huh?
I think his sense of humor is just so funny. I do love watching these Alton Brown videos, so I'll have to catch up on a few more of them. Not a big drinker, and definitely not a wine connoisseur, so I couldn't really offer my opinion on what you would serve alongside it, because my family aren't particularly big drinkers either, so we don't even really have a wine. I know some of you might think that's absolutely barbaric. I might be one of the few British people that just don't drink. Anyway, it looked absolutely delicious. I am going to prepare a turkey like this twice a year, every year from now on, because they are just so fantastic. And I enjoyed making a Thanksgiving dinner so much. Absolutely delicious. All of those like kind of melting into each other, all those sides in the plate. Oh, God, just so tasty. I actually tried to do a few elements of it in my Christmas dinner as well, because like I say, in the UK we have turkey for Christmas dinner. So there were a few little Thanksgiving sides and little nods there. Just absolutely delicious. Love it. I did try my hand at a dressing. Is it a dressing or stuffing? a cornbread stuffing. It was fantastic. It was just phenomenal. Elevated that turkey. Delicious. Don't know if I did it right. But it was absolutely lovely. So I should have watched this before I did my Christmas dinner, and I could have changed a few things, but I am a converted fan to frying that turkey. I'll never go back. Maybe I don't mind putting a chicken in the oven, but I don't think I'll ever go back to not frying my turkey now. Honestly, absolute game changer. Just out with this world delicious. Anyway, guys, I've done an awful lot of talking already. Thank you for watching along with me. I hope you enjoyed watching Alton Brown with me. Take care of yourselves, my lovelies. Much love, and I will see you on the next video. Bye-bye.